to RFQ. Different companies use a different name. We call it as request for quotation. I don't know what are the other names which people use in your organization. Can somebody tell me? One is asking for quotation. It is nothing but I'm asking for tender from the supplier, probable supplier. So it's called RFQ. What is the name that you people use in your organization? Can somebody give me answer, please? Because so that no, we will understand the terminology used in many organizations. Yeah, Karthik, what it is called in your organization when you call for tenders?
In the sense, calling tender, sir.
Yeah. So I'm asking for people to submit tender. No, I give my details and then ask them. So some organization calls it RFQ, request for quotation. Like that, others what do we? Some organizations ask for invitation to tender, ITT. So what is the names that you people use in your organization or where you are doing the work? That's what I'm trying to find out. Yeah.
Here it is just only quotation as such we say, sir.
Quotation you have to ask, you have to get from the vendors, no?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Normally it is called RFQ. We will call it as RFQ, so that no request for quotation from vendors. Now, as an auditor, when we are going to audit all the RFQ, maybe because you are going to do the complete cycle from intending to pay, no? So the complete procure to pay, we will have to find out whether the RFQ itself has got an approval or not. How does that approval come? When we get the indent, when the company has got an indent, and the indent has to be cleared by the indent scrutiny group, whatever name it is called. If it is going to be a single person, by that authorized person. You can go for an RFQ only when the indent gets approved and for an conversion to an RFQ. So the first thing in the approval process, we will have to check up approval exists for RFQ, and that approval is as per the delegation of power of the company. Suppose only a let's say a senior manager level can approve an indent. Let's assume. Suppose a manager has approved an indent, and then that cannot become a document for getting the RFQ, because it should be at a senior manager level or a deputy GM level or a deputy manager level, whatever level. As an auditor, we are supposed to find out what is the delegation of duty, at what level the approval authority exists, and then on a checking mechanism whether these things have been taken care by the company. So the important thing is whether approval exists for RFQ. The next point is mode of tendering, whether it is open tender or global, or whether it is limited tender inquiry, or whether it is single tender inquiry, or it is a proprietary item. So can somebody give me the differentiation of this open, global, LTE, STE, and proprietary? If you have to go for audit or you are working in an organization, can somebody share your thoughts on this? Okay. What it could be? Yes, please. Yeah. What is meant by open or global, and what is meant by LTE, STE, proprietary, and under which conditions we will be going for these kind of tendering process? Yeah, I need your response so that no, we will be able to do a better discussion. Yes, please. I hope I am audible, isn't it? Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
I need some responses here. Otherwise, 1.5 hours, I only should not be talking. You will get bored. Yeah. So I'm asking See, we'll have to have input from all of you so that everyone gets a better knowledge on the whole system. Your organizations must be doing this kind of a procurement, and you must be either concurring or giving an approval, or you must be agreeing to the proposal, or auditor you may be doing. So I'm simply asking a question. What is the difference between open, LTE, STE, proprietary? That's what. In case all of you want me to explain, I will explain. But before that, I just wanted to know so that I also can learn. Yeah, please go ahead. Anyone? You want me to proceed and explain? I need response either for the first question or the second question, please.
Second question, sir. Please proceed, sir.
Yeah, I will proceed. Okay, thank you. Fine. Why none of us have handled the procurement process as a finance person in the organization? None of you have handled the things that we are discussing. Is it so? Is it like that? Please respond. Please respond.
Sir, LT is a limited tender, sir, but not sure about the modalities, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. That is a different issue. What I am asking is, in your company, you must be procuring, and you must be paid as a finance person. So I am only asking, finally, because everything comes to rupee anna paisa. So we must be involved everywhere in all activities. So I am only asking what it is. Okay, what happens? Open general means you want to buy something, whether it can be a machinery, it can be a parts, it can be consumables or whatever it is. Then you have definitely you want to get the very best price in the complete open or global market. So you go for that. In this case, it is a common item, so anybody can get it. That is one. Or you are trying to find out who are all the people, because you may not be knowing who is going to do that. So you may ask for a open or global. Global is for let's say an imported item. So let's talk about open. So you want to try for open because you want to give equal chance to everybody. So you want to do that. The only issue with open this one is, since you may not be knowing who is going to be the people who are going to vote and what is their capability and all, we should have a PQP, pre-qualification criteria. Normally, you should have a pre-qualification criteria. What is pre-qualification? We call it as a PQP. What is PQP, pre-qualification criteria? We say that if this organization we are trying to get, so they should have supplied this kind of material for so many companies, or the turnover should have been like this, or they should have a production capacity of so much, or they should have been a supplier to public sector undertaking for at least for 3 years, or they should be a registered vendor, or they should be a registered under GST, or their turnover should be more than 2,000 crores in the last 50 years. There are a lot of conditions so that you don't get anybody and everybody in the market to come and to quote for you, and then you get into a problem because you don't know them, but then they quote at the lowest price, and then you make the order on them, then you suffer. So that should not happen. So whenever we go for open tender, we normally go for a lot of pre-qualification criteria. Then go through it. You have a what do you call, definitely a pre-tender submission meetings and all, give clarification, find out about them, visit them before we take the quotation and all. So open tender is to give equal opportunity to everybody. Whoever is available, they can come in. Normally we have EMD and all. I'm not getting into those details. Earnest money deposit, how much of the earnest money deposit, there should be a system in the company. So what kind of a EMD that they are collecting, whether they have collected EMD for all cases, or if there is an exemption, is there any procedure for getting the exemption, who is authorized to give the exemption. There are hundreds of things that we should find out if we take a test case or a bunch of cases for audit. So this is about open and global tender inquiry. When we come to LTE, it is limited tender inquiry. Limited tender inquiry means you have already have a vendor pay and totally. Vendors are registered, for this material, so many vendors are available. So I will not waste my time in going for a open tender and all, because the time that you should give to the vendor to submit their quotation also will vary depending upon the mode of tendering. For open tender, you may have to give them more number of days. For LTA, slightly less. For single tender inquiry, it can be still less. For proprietary, it can be very less also, because he is the only person. Now, when we come to the LTE, you remember we talked about this vendor rotation policy in the vendor management. This is the point, vendor rotation methodology. Now, with the same thing, we try to find out whether vendor rotation process is available. Normally in LTE, what happens? Suppose there are, let's say, 30 or 40 vendors available. You want to give the quotation, the RFQ to, let's say, 15 of them. So we will give to 14 people who have not yet got, or they are in the rotational process, along with the last vendor who had been supplying. So who is currently the vendor, successful tenderer in the last tender. So he is included. So these 15 people will be there. And that should be what kind of a selection process we will have for giving this. So in this case, what happens? We don't go for PQC and all, because we know the vendor, we know the vendor's capability. The vendors have been either supplying or I had only registered. So I know the registered vendors, I know them, so I don't go normally. Normally we don't go for pre-qualification criteria because the vendors are known to us. Now coming to single tender inquiry. What is the difference between limited tender inquiry and single tender inquiry? Can somebody add in their viewpoint, please? Yeah, I need responses. Then only it becomes lively session. Otherwise, it becomes a simple seminar where I go on be talking. So far I have not done that way. So today also I don't intend to do that. What could be the difference between LTE and STE, please? And somebody.
Limited tender inquiry consists of already list of approved vendors or the data the vendors which we have already those who have submitted the earlier quotations like that, sir.
Okay.
And single tender is we are interested in one specific vendor and we want to know the their quotation.
Okay, why will we go only for single tender?
Maybe company like their quality of service or product.
We like the quality or service or product. Okay. Any other answer? What could be the difference between single tender and proprietary? See, single tender is multiple vendors are available, but you are choosing only one out of them, isn't it? So you should give very strong reasons as to why you want to go for a single tender inquiry. Let us assume you want to buy a common item, let's assume, even a stationary item. Hundreds of registered vendors will be there, but you want to buy only from one vendor, single tender. You only ask him to supply. You give him and then ask him to supply. So definitely there should be a very strong reason, isn't it? Very, very strong reason should be there. Otherwise, motives will be attributed. Why you are going to a single tender when you have a lot of vendors who can supply you? Am I right or wrong? Because vendors are available and you are going for a single tender. If it is your household, okay, you can do that. Even in household, when your family goes to a vegetable market, they don't immediately go and buy from one shop. They try to find out the prices, quality of others. So there are thousands of shops are available. They don't zero into one shop normally. So when it comes to the company, if you are directly buying from one shop without inquiries from others, you have very, very strong reasons. So those reasons are to be recorded. So as an auditor, if an auditee company is going on for a single tender inquiry without reason, that means they are not getting into the details of the market, and if they had gone for LTE, they would have got a better prices, which they have not got. So we'll have to find out what was the motive of the purchase manager, why is he doing, and how the company is, how the management is allowing it. First of all, isn't it? The company cannot allow such things. So if vendors are available and they are all registered, and if the company goes for SPE, we will have to find out as an auditor what is the reason, isn't it? So this is a very important point when you go for audit. Proprietary is what? What is meant by proprietary tender? Can somebody tell me what is meant by proprietary at all? Yes, please. What is meant by proprietary? Can I have some responses? Yes, please, Venkatesh or someone, can you please respond? What is meant by proprietary item? Example. Friends, am I audible or not? Because I get a doubt whether my voice is reaching you people.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Then some response should be there, yeah. Yeah, please. I'm waiting. Is it a new word to all of you? Proprietary item. It's a new word to all of you. Should I take it that way? Or we have heard this word? Please respond to know, is it a new word? Then I can start explaining. Otherwise, we can discuss. There's two different things. One is explanation, another is discussion. So what shall I do?
It is not new word for us. I think proprietary means it's point out to ownership in my point of view. That's only I know, sir.
Acha, how many of you are using Excel, Word, PowerPoint and all? I think I should have an answer for this at least. Yeah, I'm asking a simple question, nothing to do with the subject now. I'm asking how many of you are using Excel, PowerPoint, Word in your organization or in your office or in your personal life? That's what I want to know.
Regularly we use Excel, sir.
So all of you are using Excel. Excel is whose product?
Microsoft.
Microsoft.
Product. You have got open office and all also, no? You must be remembering. There are some open source software which you need not pay money. There is no license anybody can do. All of you are aware of that kind of a software? Equivalent
Yes,
Excel.
sir, yes, sir.
Excel.
Sure.
When you talk about Excel, then it becomes a proprietary item. When you talk about Excel, it becomes proprietary item. Proprietary item means it's only one of its kind is available in the market. Suppose you want to buy Excel, Word, PowerPoint in these words, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, then from whose product you can buy now? You can only buy MS Microsoft products only can offer you Excel, PowerPoint or Word. Yes or no? Can any other company sell Excel now to you? Have
No,
you
sir.
seen?
No, sir.
No.
If you want Excel means we have to approach Microsoft only.
Microsoft. So it becomes a Microsoft proprietary product. If you want to go for multi-axle bus, how many companies are there? Multi-axle you must be knowing. I need not explain. Single axle, multi-axle. Like Volvo, Benz. Okay. So these kind of buses, you get a multi-axle also. Now, when you are going to talk about a particular product, let's say there is a difference between Ashok Leyland buses and Tata buses. If Chase is, if you are going to buy the truck or the whatever cargo handling vehicle on a hilly terrain, on a mountain terrain, then it is Tata vehicle which will be more suitable. When we are talking of a plain terrain, then Ashok Leyland vehicle will be more useful. When you are talking of tractors, Eicher tractor or something will be useful. So when your specification is such that only one company's product or one company only is manufacturing, then it becomes proprietary item. So you are tendering, it is not an SE. SE means the same product is available through many vendors, but I am only buying from one vendor. Let us say you are going for a road laying contract. So road laying contract, there can be hundreds of contractors registered with you, but you are going for a single contract. So you should have a very, very strong reason for ensuring that there is no corruption. Whereas when we go to proprietary also, you should have a very strong reason. Let us say you want to buy buses for your transportation of employees in your organization. Now the buses you can buy maybe from Tata or maybe from Volvo, maybe from Leyland, maybe from Eicher, maybe from somebody. You want to buy a car, you can buy Maruti, you can buy, let's say, if you are going for SUV, you can go for Scorpio or you can go for, let's say, Innova. There are a lot of things. But you want to go only for, let's say, Tata buses. Then you have to, it's a proprietary of Tata. So you will have to give explanation why you want to go only for that. So proprietary means there is paraphernalia is when you go for a proprietary item, then later on consumable or consumable study. Normally the spare parts also we may have to get only from that manufacturer. Maybe through his dealers, but you not only buy, let's say if you buy Tata, then your spare part should be from Tata Motors only. I'm talking of specified spare parts. I'm not talking of nuts and bolts. So those kind of things. So we have got, if you really look at it, we have got mode of tendering, open, LDE, SCE, proprietary. Any question on this so far? When we talked about the mode of tendering, anybody has any point? Anyone? Or shall I proceed? If I have to proceed, please tell me, proceed. I'll proceed.
Very well. Just thought of sharing some information with you or
Yeah,
with
well.
our team members.
Yeah.
Actually, even for proprietary, suppose if you want to buy a car, for example, Hyundai only required. So there is no other way. We have to go to Hyundai and buy the car. So we can have one more option also. Instead of going directly to the company, there must be several dealers are available. If we speak individual dealers, ask them to submit the quotation, we may negotiate and we can reduce the cost as well. That we used to do in our business as well when I was in the corporates. Suppose a dealer, they used to keep margin maybe 20% or 15%. if we ask some additional discount, they may be reducing their margin, and the margin must be sharing off with us. So instead of keeping 20% margin, they will keep only 10% margin, and the cost can be reduced in the vehicle, so that our company can get 10% additional benefit. So even though proprietary also, the scope for improvement is there. We can go for competitive along with dealers. We can get the benefit.
Yeah.
And
Right,
number two, when the automobile industries are there, for some other example, you told in the previous slide, I mean previous point. So each and every company, there is a separate share of business available with the suppliers. Sometimes even though the suppliers are manufacturing all the for example steel part or body part, they never give this tender to all the people. They used to choose some of the vendor. They used to give the single source purchase order, so that we can get the better quality material with fast, and we can get the material at the earliest. We can manufacture and we can invoice to the dealer. So that way, share of business also available, and proprietary also. There is a cost saving option available if you go for dealer network. So this is one of the example thought of sharing with you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Vadivel. That's a very good point. In fact, as Mr. Vadivel says, when we go for proprietary, we can never buy from Tata company itself or from Leyland. When you ask for the material, they will say, these are all my dealers, you can approach them and then get it. As Mr. Vadivel says, big companies, we don't go to any single dealer. We ask all the dealers to give their quotation. Whoever gives the best of these things, then we go on buy it. So Vadivel's point is, even if it is proprietary, you still have a scope for a reduction in prices when compared to the marked up prices. That is a very good point. Only thing is, as an auditor, we are supposed to find out whether the company is following all these norms or not. Because that should be a definite, what do you call a manual on purchases and contracts. Because when I say purchases, I think under GST now, any contract is also a service only, isn't it? So it is a procurement of services. Contracts are procurement of services, and materials are procurement of materials. Previously, purchase means it is only materials. Now it is purchase means it is services also are purchased. So that is how it is. So we must ensure that the companies to which we go for audit have all these systems in place. If these systems are not in place, maybe we need not doubt their integrity and all. We can suggest to the company, by proprietary you only went to one dealer, whereas if you had gone to some 5-6 dealers, then you could have definitely saved money. The company will listen to us. See, as an let's say an auditor or whatever it is, in whatever capacity we approach a company, if we are giving value addition points to the organization, then our credibility will go up. The respect what we get from them will go up. Eventually, our revenue from that company will go up. If we are going to do only as a bookish, whatever we do, and then we try to point out mistakes only, then that's not going to help. Okay, pointing out mistakes or pointing out lapses is a duty, but then how we are going to help them to overcome that, and then their bottom line, how it can be strengthened or how the cost can be reduced, if we are able to give them the idea, then our credibility really goes up. Any other point, Mr. Vadivel?
Sir, actually, one more point I'm having in my mind. Even suppose if our company is selected for the internal auditor for one particular company, for example.
Okay.
So when we go and do the audit, we supposed to see all the policies, what you said, purchase policy, everything is available or not. In fact, when I was in Motherson, we had this policy. Even though policy is available, we have incorporated this dealer network concept as well for proprietary. If the particular point is not available in the purchase policy, we may inform to the client. So these are the opportunities are available. You have not incorporated this particular point in your purchase policy. Better if you incorporate, you will get some additional benefit. So that way also we can inform to the management, not only giving audit of regular thing, we can give some scope for improvement in the policy itself. The SOP what they are preparing, they may subject to change. So we can give some points how to change, what to change, what frequency we may change. Maybe the management can take decision on the change of this policy, so that we can give some additional input to the corporate.
Yeah, true, Vadivel. Thank you very much. Fine. Anyone else have any other point on this discussion? The next point is whether sufficient time is given for submission. Like what we were talking, if there is going to be a manual, purchase manual, then we should ensure that certainly these kind of timelines, whether they are drawn up in the manual and whether the company is giving sufficient time for the vendors to submit. Or you see in many newspapers, in the government circles, they have only given like 6 days time to submit, or previous day only they said next day you should submit. All these things happen mainly because of what you call of hidden interest by the people. The hidden interest, whatever, whenever there is an hidden interest, you get into all these things. Whereas if people follow the policy, the procurement policies, then you don't get all these kind of issues, and there will be a transparent things available in the company. That is what we should definitely look into it. Okay, so this is very, very important to find out whether people are using the correct methodology in the procurement. And now, if you are going to do things under SRM, because I'm talking of in the SAP parlance, supplier relationship management, then we should know whether mandatory inputs are identified for filling up and implemented. When we are going to ask for a request for quotation, whether all details, whatever is the mandatory details from the supplier, whether all those things are taken into consideration and whether we are implementing it is a very, very important point which we should take care. So if you really look at it, the points on the RFQ is approval, mode of tendering, sufficient time is given, and all the mandatory inputs are getting captured or not. These are all the things as an auditor, along with the other points what Mr. Vadivel and others are told, we have to take care of this, right? So what I will do now, I will stop sharing of this so that we can have some sort of a discussion into the points that so far what we have discussed. Is there any other points anyone wants to highlight so that no, we can learn from you? Any other points from anyone, please? Yes, please. Yeah. Anyone has anything? Or can we proceed further? That's what I want to know.
We'll proceed, sir.
Proceed further, sir.
Okay. We will do that. Now the next point, what we will look after is the tender